Happy Mindset Monday. Right, today we are winging it, or I am winging it, and we are going to talk about boundaries. Um, Something that I've had to learn. I know Talita has things with boundaries as well, and a lot of us in the team do. My main one is saying no to people. Clearly, I can't say no enough. So I'm going to read some stuff through boundaries, what healthy boundaries look like. I thought it was an important topic to cover. And it's really, really important for your life in general, but really your mental health. So I'm going to read through what I've been researching today. So boundaries 101. It says boundaries are limits we set for ourselves. Everyone's boundaries are different, and they are based on what is personally important to us. Boundaries can be set in several aspects of life, such as work, relationships, family, and in conflict. Boundaries can be physical or emotional limits to help to determine a person's comfort level, needs, and preferences. So it's got a bit about what healthy boundaries look like. The first one is valuing your own opinion. The second is respecting limits set by you or others. The third one, not compromising own values for someone else. The fourth one, sharing information appropriately. The fifth is effectively communicating your needs and wants. The sixth is accepting no from others. And the seventh is being able to say no to others. And the eighth is being able to identify when a boundary has been broken. So that is what healthy boundaries should look like. You should be able to do all of those things. And it's got how to set boundaries. So setting boundaries may take some time and practice. Don't get down on yourself if it feels hard. Number one, you are to identify what behaviors from others is acceptable to you, and what might cause you discomfort. Two, clearly communicate your boundaries with others. Learn to say no and be assertive. You can choose to explain yourself or not. Remain confident, respectful, and assertive either way. One of the things I think, like over time, like I'm talking about past time now, not anymore, but past for me, is family boundaries. Family boundaries are really hard. That's blood. You can't necessarily step away from it. And it's really, really hard to set those boundaries in place. But you have to, more than anyone else, you have to set them boundaries with family, because essentially, they're always going to be there. And if you don't, that's when you're going to have problems. You're not going to want to be around them people. You're going to have conflict in your family. So it's really important to set them healthy boundaries. And, it's difficult because it can turn it into a negative thing when you're trying to set boundaries with somebody and they don't understand that, and they're going to take it in a negative way, and then it can turn into like war. But it is really, really important to set them. Like, you can't have people overstepping, especially family. 3, decide what to do if someone breaks your boundaries. This may mean a tough decision, taking time away, or ending a relationship. So for me, the reason I say family is because I don't talk to my mother. Now, the reason I don't talk to her is because, and I haven't spoken to her since since I was pregnant with Lily. And the reason I don't is because she broke them boundaries for many, 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 many years. And it got to a point where she had damaged my mental health again and again and again and again. And I got to a point in my life at, 40, that I thought, do you know what? Enough's enough. I'm a grown woman and I don't need this. Now, I'm not saying that's for everybody, and I'm not saying everybody should do that. But for me, it was the right thing. Do I miss having a parent? Yes. But am I better for cutting that and, stopping that and stopping it dead in its tracks? Yes, I am. I'm better in myself. I'm better with my mental health. I'm better with my children, because that crossing boundaries all the time was affecting every part of my life. That's why I say it's really, really important that I don't like to say to people, delete everybody that's negative, because sometimes family, you can't always do that. I get it. But if it gets to a point where it's affecting you or your children, that's when you need to nip it in the bud. You cannot let somebody constantly put their whatever way the boundary is crossed. You can't let somebody do that to you constantly. It's just not a healthy place to be. So yeah, tough decision, taking time away or ending that. And that's what I had to do. But I don't think it's for everybody. I think you should, lay out what you want to happen, whoever that may be, whether it's a partner, a parent, a member of your family, a best friend, whatever that is. Set them boundaries out and give them time to correct them, because sometimes it's learned behavior from their part as well. Like from my mum, it was definitely learned behavior from her parents. She didn't necessarily know how to behave as a parent. So I think you just give them time, and if it gets to that point where you need to cut it, then you need to cut it. So examples of this: number 1, please don't do that. Number 2, I'm not comfortable with this. 3, I need some time alone. Number 4, I want you to tell me how you feel, but it's not okay for you to yell at me or slam things or, behave in a disrespectful way. Number 2, I don't want to hang out with you. Like if you've got this is a difficult one, because I don't have a lot of friends, obviously my squad, but I don't have a lot of friends around me. But that's probably my issue too, and probably theirs. Like over the years, I like my own company. And sometimes I like to stay in, and I don't like clubbing, and I don't like all the usual things. I'm happy in the corner reading a book or, doing a puzzle or whatever it may be, baking, whatever. And people can take that and say, oh, you're boring because you don't want to come out with us. Or, we're not going to be friends with you anymore because you don't want to do this today and you keep cancelling. Or you don't ever want to come out. Like, that's fine. But my boundary is I'm very clear on who I am and what I want to do. And if I don't want to do something, I'm not going to do it. I am very stubborn when it comes to that. Like, I will do what I want to do. I won't fall into the sheep mentality where I will follow if a group of girls want to go clubbing and I don't want to go clubbing, I'm not going to go clubbing. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just not, it's not my vibe. But it says, what are your boundaries? And these are the questions you need to ask yourself. So what is important to me? What are some of my boundaries? They're non-negotiable boundaries, the ones that you don't want people crossing. How do these boundaries protect your values? What boundaries do I need to set? How can I effectively communicate these boundaries? How can I set and maintain these boundaries? Why are my boundaries important to maintain? And how do my boundaries vary depending on the person or the setting? So I will say this, especially for the last one, like the people and stuff like that. You're going to have boundaries with different people. You're going to accept things. Becca may accept things from me, but she'll take a lot more from her parents because it's a different level of relationship. So you're going to be like that. You're going to have to set them for different people in different environments, in different settings for different people. I've learned over time from things that have happened. I have a very strict boundary thing. And one of my boundary things I don't have, that I'm learning to do, is saying no to people. Because I am a people pleaser. I am. And there was something that I read the other day about people pleasers, and it says that, and I got emotional over this. It says that at a time when you needed people most and they weren't there for you, the trauma of that makes you people pleaser. And it's so true. At the time that I needed people the most and I didn't have anybody, I think that's why I do it. I think I people please.
1,000% true.
Yeah. I think I people please because, I like to make sure, number one, I like to make sure everybody's okay. I like to give love. I like to help everybody. But at times, that does not help me. Like, it doesn't.
When you need it, when it comes to you, you need it, it's nobody there.
Yeah.
It's not like
Yeah, you are.
you
And
need
that's
it.
good, Becca, because I wouldn't have known that. Like if you hadn't had said that in Palooza, and I'm glad you did, I wouldn't have known that. So it's important. It's important to have them boundaries. But it's a learning growth thing as well. Like it is. It's difficult. I know, Talita, it's difficult for you to like say no to family members and have that kind of talk with them because they don't always understand, and you can give,
So
and
hard.
people take,
Because
and you
heart is telling you, but at the same time, you have to control that. Like you can't do for everybody else. You can't.
it is hard. And the problem you'll find is when you're not setting your boundaries like that, emotionally, mentally, drained. Like drained to hell. That's the worst thing about boundaries, is if you don't set them, it will drain every part of you.
Yes. So, because I know this is being recorded and people watching the recording cannot see the chat, I put down the only boundary that I am not afraid to tell people about is that I do not like being touched. So, especially at Thrive Palooza, after everyone gets together and we're all hugging, like I had to go back to my room and be by myself for a while to heal, I will say, mentally heal from that, because that affects me that much.
Yeah. And now I get that. That's good, because you've set the boundary for, like, I'm talking just about me now. You've set the boundary with me, so I know that there's not that I won't cross that boundary, because I know that that is something that's important to you, and you've set that, and that's good.
Yes,
That's
when
good
I
that you
know
can
I'm
do
gonna
that.
be around a group of people that I have not physically been around, I have to mentally prepare myself
Yeah.
that they are all going to want to hug me.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I'm still a hugger,
it is
but
a
you've
whole
told me
process for
so.
me to get
Yeah.
ready to be touched.
Yeah.
I don't
And
think
I get that. Like I'm the same with any kind of family environment thing. And that's just an issue that I have. Like it takes me, like friendship, you girls know, like I'll give you everything, like, I'll give you 100%. But with family, it's a bit different for me. And it's probably because I didn't have the best family, that it's very hard for me connecting with Sam's family, who are great, but it's very hard for me to connect with them, because for me, like I've been on my own for so long that I'm like, I'm cool, I'm on my own, don't need family. It's another form of, you know, you have to, just like they have their boundaries, I have mine. Like I'm the same with the hugs and the affection from a family point of view, but yeah, I can hug my friends all day long. It's weird, isn't it, how things can trigger you?
Mm-hmm.
it's true, because you
Based
have
on,
that trust with
Yeah.
other people than your own blood, because it's I get that.
yeah, it
Georgia
is.
is the only person that can come up and touch me and it doesn't bother me like that.
Well, that's, you trust her.
Yeah,
That's your trust.
But
you don't know other people.
I don't have the blocks like around my parents, and maybe it's because they were not huggers. Like that wasn't in our family dynamic,
yeah,
and that's possibly where it was. But yeah, even for family to come up, like I'm like, yeah, don't touch me.
it's good though.
I
It's
don't
good
shake
that you
hands.
can,
I don't hug.
yeah,
I will say hi and wave.
it's good that you can set those boundaries, because some people can't. I found it very, very difficult until the thing with my mum, and I cut that off. It's probably the first time I'd ever set a proper boundary in 40 years. So it's good that you can say that to people, because it's
Well,
not
now
easy.
you have to make your shirt. When you come to Palooza, you make a shirt.
Do not touch me.
Not touch me.
I'm
No
not a
hug.
hugger.
No hug. I'm not a hugger, please.
The only thing touching me is my patch.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
I like that.
do that.
One of the things here I'm going to read out, it says boundaries, and it's got it's not my job to, and it is my job to. So it's not my job to heal others, please others at my expense, make it work. If the effort isn't mutual, I say that out loud because that is one of mine. And I know it's one of Talita's. Nobody else is here, so I can't pick on other people, but we are 100% givers and we like that in return. Is it right that we should respect that in return every time? Probably not, but that's just us. And when people aren't giving it back 100%, we're like, well, what's wrong with you? Why aren't you giving 100%? Like,
why I don't get a compliment? Why?
Things which is funny. It's not my job to tiptoe around you. It's not my job to anticipate your needs, and it's not my job to change myself to your liking. It is my job to heal myself. It is my job to listen to my needs and desires. It's my job to respect myself and my time. It is my job to be my true, authentic self. It's my job to set healthy boundaries to protect my energy. It's my job to leave when I'm not being valued. It's my job to say no when it's not in my alignment. And it's my job to be mindful with my yeses. I feel like I'm literally calling myself into therapy right now, because that is me to a T. That is me on what I don't do that I should do. I'm very, very good when it comes to like making sure that people in my space are not affecting negatively on my energy. I'm very good with that. I've learned that over the last few years to be very good with that. But there's some things there I'm not good with. I'm not good with saying no. And I have to be more mindful with what I'm saying yes to, and start listening to my needs and desires. And this is what affects me, is I will always put people first before me. So when I've got to listen to my needs and desires over somebody else, it's kind of hard for me to do that because I'm not that kind of person. I will put other people before me. You know, there's probably a long list of people that I put before myself. So it's hard. It's hard when you're that kind of personality to do that. But I also know that it's really important from a growth point of view that you get to the point where you think, hang on a minute, I need to do this for me now, because I'm not doing that because I'm doing all of this. And where's my time? Where's me in this?
And that gets you burned out, and then you're tired, and then you're trying to take care of yourself, but you couldn't because you already burned out from the other things.
Yeah.
So that's why yourself come first, then the rest. I am preaching, but I need to do that to myself too.
But you're very good at, you say that, Talia, but you're very good at telling me that I needed time off this weekend. So you do know, like, you know.
Yeah.
You're like, Rachel, switch off now. That's enough. You need to get some rest, girl. But it's true. Sometimes you need to do that. You need to make sure that you're healing yourself and looking after yourself first before others, because it's very true what they say. If you are not in your right mind, you're not 100% whole in everything that is important, you can't be there for anyone else. Not your children, not your parents, not your other half, not anyone. You can't. So that is my little bit on boundaries today. Very winging it with boundaries, but I just think it's important. It's something that I have to learn to do. And there's people on the squad that I'm not going to pick on because they're not here, but there's others that need to work on boundaries too. Like we all do. We all need to, because we don't, especially in them family relationships, especially when with your other half, there's that love there that makes you feel awkward about setting a boundary.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just is. One thing with me and Sam, this is like a bit, I'm recording this as well, god damn. One thing with me and Sam is that whether it's because I've been in previous relationships where I have set no boundaries, is that everything's a boundary. And Sam's very good with that. Like he knows, like, don't tell me what I can do is one. Don't tell me what I can wear or what I look like is two. And he would never do that. But because I've had past relationships that have been very controlling in that sense, that there's things I won't accept. You know, there is things I won't accept. Sometimes maybe a bit too harsh, Sam, but some things that I won't accept. Like, I'm very like set in my relationship. I know where my relationship is. I know that we're 50-50, that we do things together and we work as a partnership, and that's how a healthy relationship should be.
Yeah, it's your partner. It's not your child. You can't.
Yes.
That's like what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
You can't like, hey, you can't do that. You can't wear that. That's that boundary right there. You can do that to Lily or to Zachary, but I can't do that to Neil. Like, you can't wear that over there. And you're showing your legs and like, I understand.
Yeah. And I think it's important that it's difficult when it comes to love, but it's important that, you know, of all the things friends will come and go, but people that you love, that you don't want to disconnect from, you have to set them boundaries with them, even if it's difficult sometimes. You have to. Unfortunately, sometimes in my case, I tried to set the boundaries for many, many years and it did not work, and she didn't listen. So I had to do something that wasn't very comfortable, and I'm still not over that 4 years later. But for my own mental health, for my children's future, you have to set them properly and make sure people understand that if they don't respect that, like Becca, if you don't respect not touching me, then you will not be in my life. Like that's just the way it is. Like, I have to have that level of respect. And it's like that with everyone. It's so true. So that is my little rant today about boundaries. I'm going to stop recording before I give any more family stuff away. I hope you enjoyed that today. And next week, we will have the lovely Talita. I cannot wait to hear your mindset.
I know. I think mine is almost like the same. Mine is like a show up or show down. Mm-hmm.
I'm excited.
That's me next week. Show up or show down. So we're gonna do some show.
Check in for that. If you're watching this back, check in for that.